Hey everybody, this is Max Farrow, and this is the Dex Minute MDM WB system, and I'm joined with Mike Ficca.
It's quite a mouthful, Max. Thank you. Thanks for having me tonight.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, listen, tonight's webinar is sort of an impromptu stuff that Mike and I decided that we were going to do because we wanted to show you some absolutely cool stuff that I just finished developing and building out, and Mike's a big proponent of using the chart system on MT4. So I also wanted to show him what it looked like on the WB, but we also delivered a tremendous amount of information on the new WB system that we just came out with that I wanted you to see. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Of course, we are going to talk about money, so guess what? Risk disclaimer. Here we are. Educational trade assistance only, and all results may vary. Take that, Mr. Einstein. So tonight's topics are going to be real simple, Mike. We're going to talk about the new WB charts, which are pretty effing cool. Where do you see them? Yes. And the price system that we talked about the other night, right? The price system 3268 or 3268, 3862. Got to get that one down. 3862. Remember, Max, 3862. Okay, I'll remember now. I'm writing it down.
Put it on a sticky and put it on your laptop.
Well, it's stuck in my finger now. But and then we'll also talk about the 55-45 mentality, 45-55 mentality as well, and what can that look like, and what reasons would I use that for? Remember that you always have to use it. If you're just going to use one, use it all the time, right? So very powerful. So first off, you guys want to make sure that you got your WB system on. Let me click over so you guys can see. Here we go. We have some people in the chat room right there, but I'm going to switch over right now to our Foursquare and kind of give you a bird's eye view of what the system, the new system looks like. I haven't refreshed since last night on the screen, so it still has the old system in it. I won't tell if you don't tell. Everything's got to refresh. It's taking time because we got recordings. Never said I was a beauty singer. This is taking like a dog's age. I'll edit this part out. I'm only kidding.
Edit it?
I'll edit it. Cut it out.
Funny.
All right. So when you first get here, you're going to see a little bit of a change than what you're going to hear a lot of ding dongs. But you're going to see a little bit of change in the system here, right? Each pair now, each asset having the AUD USD, the Euro USD, and of course down below the British Gold Pound and the USD JPY. So each one of these on the Foursquare is really meant for when you first get in here. You just basically want to slide over to the right so you can see. I put these in here like this because I wanted you to have all four available for, a quick observation and a quick look, if you will. And what I normally do is that I drag over to the right a little bit, giving myself some white space. If you can't drag over, now just click in the gray box up here one time, and you can use your mouse keys. If you push the right hand mouse keys, you can hear me tapping away. It'll slowly move it over. That's a new feature, one of the new features. And what I do is I normally get this kind of look happening, so I can see when an arrow comes out, a pretty little arrow. I'll hear a chime, and then I'll see an arrow come out, right? This is like Southwest by Southwest kind of stuff, right? The Foursquare. All right, but then what I do is when I see a new arrow come out, we head over to the chart. And this is where it gets very interesting. I use the sort of the open chart here to have an opportunity to see everything. If you ever get into a jam, like it gets a little mucked up or something happens, you can just right click in the bar and it'll kind of unselect everything. Now, when you first get here, you're going to see, of course, you see all your arrows, all that kind of good stuff. It's on a 1 minute chart automatically, so you don't got to change anything around. It automatically has a MACD on it and something else. It has a support and resistance value on it. You can't really see too much on the AUD USD right now because there's not a lot of support stuff happening, but you can kind of see this line. And you can see how important that line is. Look at all the touch and the structure that it provides, right? You see that dotted line right there? It's pretty wild, Mike, right?
Yes, I see it, yeah.
Now, check this out.
That was never there before.
It was never there before. So we've applied the MACD, the Dex MACD, the supported one where it has all three lines in there. You got a moving average, which is that blue line, which is a beautiful signal. We call that the signal line. You have the orange line, which is the actual line. And then you got this deep red one, which is considered the average line. So when the orange line crosses over the red, you get that's a good event movement to have. You know, these are all great confirmation terms that we're using. You know, you have confirmation and direction. You have a little bit of everything. You got bounce off of this SR. You got all these great things happening, which we're very, very excited to have. But in case you didn't want to have that on there, simply click on the Dex MACD and hit remove. And look at that. It's completely gone. But you just come over here and add, and boom, it's right back on again. No harm, no foul. Simple. Same thing with the MSR. If you want to have this off, right, if you want to have the Dex MDM MSR off, and that's the support and resistance system, just simply select it and click remove, and it's gone. It's out of your hair forever. In future versions, I'll also be able to have a, you'll be able to click on it, and it'll be open in its own screen. But until I got to work out some fancy security code to protect us on it. But other than that, it's on its way. That's to be the next version. But this version is still good enough to use, right? If you can't really see it too well, or maybe it's just too crazy, I think you can expand your screen. I'm using my touch value, but if you also have your control button, you hold your control button down on your computer, use your mouse wheel to go back and forth. If not, research how you expand your screen in your neck of the woods, right? On whatever system you're using. Okay. So pretty cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Did I expand too far out? I'm losing a little clarity there. There we go. There we go. That looks pretty good, right? Good.
HD
Nice
quality.
HD quality. Yummy, yummy, yummy. All right. So, but as you see, I've sort of messed up things here a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just right click. I'm going to go to reload frame, and that's what's going to happen there. It's going to reload that one frame. It's not going to reload everything that you got. And then I'm back to square again. So I can click in the gray bar. I can tap over easy enough, and you can kind of see the whole thing moves over. Or I can just click and drag it over. If you have a mouse wheel, you can roll the mouse wheel forward and it can zoom in. If you have a mouse wheel and you can expand out, you can kind of see overall trend. These are some great options here. Again, I usually come back to the yeah, even if you have a laptop and you have a touchpad, spend a couple bucks, spend like 20 bucks and get yourself a remote mouse, you know, wireless mouse. Has a little USB port, plugs in right to the side, batteries once every 2-3 months, and you call it close, right? But the operations of it is wonderful instead of touching the pad and trying to swing stuff, using 2 fingers to open, all that stuff, okay? You have the same options on the Foursquare, but they're hidden because they're usually on the slide roll over. There's another batch of signals that are coming off, and we'll show you how to read all these and do all this tonight, and we'll talk about this tonight, which will be pretty cool. But a few other features on this thing. If you go over to the numbers area and you take your mouse and you click down once, you're basically shrinking the market down to kind of get an expansion of what it looks like, right? This is not really zooming in. You're sort of just expanding the market down so you can see the pricing structure. Here you're moving during time. Here you're moving up and down to see more pricing. But we really want to be right around this area right here. And you can always click and drag. You can drag and move stuff in all 4 directions. You want to look up, you want to look down, that kind of stuff. But usually try to keep it right in the center. Very easy. Okay?
Hey, Max, I just noticed that you have a journal page up there. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you just add that?
No, the journal page has been up here.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Where have
Well,
I been?
even the WB people are in, and I don't tell you which ones are which. Because I want you all be in there. You're training with the same mentality. The systems are a little bit different, right? So you might see people getting into trades that you're not getting into. But don't fret. You know, the system, they both have a high quality and they both yield the same type of trade value. It's all about the way that you trade. It's not so much about what times you're trading and he's trading one different than I am and all that stuff. You just have to follow the arrows, have yourself a confirmation, and go with that flow. Some people will have the same arrows you have at the same times. They may look a little different, but you'll get the same results in there.
Well, I got to confess, Max, I like the MetaTrader 4. I never liked it before, but I really like it now.
Right.
And moving from MetaTrader 4 back to here, now that I'm doing consults and teaching people on the WB, I've actually had great success on the WB. Probably a little bit above the MetaTrader 4, to be honest with you. And it's been phenomenal. I mean, I thought, you know, that the difference with, you know, with the arrows being so close to the candles that I was going to have a problem with that.
Right.
But it's just a directional arrow, and it's fantastic.
Well, let me address that here because it is a little bit different. On MetaTrader 4, the arrows sit back at actual price line, which I give you for price level, right? But I want to give you a little hint here, and this is for everybody too. The arrow, when it comes out, if you want a price level of where that arrow should be at and should be above, is that if you go to the previous 5 minutes ago, right, the arrow right after here, right, go to the previous 5 if you're looking for a down arrow and look for the high, okay? And you can kind of see the high sitting on this one at 77.02. And that should be the margin where it should stay under, right? And if you're doing a sell, if you're doing a buy here, actually, right, you would go to the previous 5 and head down from that point. Now, this one was a losing trade, right? But that's what we get. And I think there was some news happening here too, okay? So there's opportunity here that you use the previous 5 minutes. You're looking left for structure anyway. You're looking left for a value of high or low even at that point, okay? So looking something like this. So if I was looking for something like this, I'd go back to previous 5, find the high, and I'm sitting at 77.02. Well, it finished out at 76.95. Obviously a winner at that point. But something like this even, I'm looking back at the previous 5 high, and look what happens, right? It puts it up here. Well, guess what, folks? That's a winner as well. Now, keep in mind, with Nadex is indicative, here's the actual high. This one would have been a loss. But could you have used other values to find the winner in there? And the answer is yes. But there is also, you know, once this trade happens, here's a crossover. You see this? There's a major crossover happening within that first minute. You know, there's validation. This could also be an indicator of, you know, getting in and out of a trade. But listen, don't worry about scalping and all that kind of stuff. These are validations to look to see if a market's still pretty good. So if this crossover happens, this one looks really, really good to be into, doesn't it? And look at this. It crosses over, comes out, crosses over again. It's completely heading up from that point. Still heading up. Everything's looking pretty good. Now it's flattening out. But you're using that previous low. There it is, 76.95 to get to that high. Now this is price level trading. Okay? You can also keep in mind that you can also put in one up, one down kind of trades, right? If this is 76.95, this is 4 pips up. This is 5 or 6 pips up. This one would kind of got bought at that mentality. And we'll show you what that is happening here in a minute as well. All right, so let's jump back over and let's kind of see if a signal will come out in this next batch of trades. Now, one thing that we are doing, and of course, as soon as I switch over. All right, so we have a good value, a good little crossover happening on this previous 5 on this Euro USD. We're going to go over to Nadex. We're going to find that. Here's our Nadex account, our $43,000 Nadex account. We're going to get into the 5 minute. We're going to go to Forex. What was that? The Euro USD, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Euro USD.
It was a buy.
Yep, was a buy. Now on this system, we're going to go with a buy from here's the center. We have center, one up, one down, and top fringe, bottom fringe. We're going to go with the one down because we're looking for an up. We're going to go from this position. We're going to have one contract in there. We're going to have a $68.
$62.
$62. God, what are you doing? $62. Why is it? Oh, my unlocks one. $62. You'll know it's right when it says $38 profit and you hit place order, and that is that. You just sit there now. Now it's time to sit. Now we were 2.5 minutes into the trade. We're a little bit behind the scenes, a little bit behind the times. But we're just going to sit here, and that's all that you're really doing here at this level, doing a 62.38 trade. Okay.
And by the way, thank you to you, Max, in your original teaching methods. I was actually able to make a one contract on your Nadex permanent. So it's really good for the incremental crawl too. When you go to 2 contracts and then 3 contracts, you don't have to fill in the contract price or the contract or how many contracts you're using. That was awesome.
And that's really simple to set up too. I mean, in fact, we'll even look at that right now. If you go to the My Account feature, okay, go to Settings. You go to Preferences, right? It's Preferences right there. You'll see a default contract size, and you'll set a default contract size. You can set it as 1, you can set it as 2, you can set it as 21, but you don't want to do that. You'll set it at 1, right? And you can even turn the feature off. You can turn the feature on. Okay?
Right.
Simple. Then you just hit Set Preference. Very simple to do.
Awesome.
This really does help you because sometimes mistakes happen when you're filling out process. You can come in and click that, and all of a sudden you forget that you've done 10, and then you do something like this. Yeah. Let's just pretend that's happened to me. I have stuck 100 trades onto a system, and it was the toughest 7 minutes of my life because, let me tell you, it wasn't on a 5-minute either. It was on a long-term trade, and I was sweating it so bad. There was like $2,000 on this hit here, and luckily it moved one good direction for a couple of minutes, and I got out for very low hit to it. I think I even made money on it, but what a frightening time. I could have seen my whole balance disappear. All right, doesn't look like we're going to get filled on this one. 735, 77. So yeah, it's still bouncing around some. So let's jump back over and have another quick look here. Oops, wrong one. Here we go. Now, there were no other signal on any of the other ones, so that was the only one we had. But one of the reasonings why that I was looking at is because that we had a little bit of crossover action in the previous 5 minutes. You're always looking left for a reasoning. You're making a case. You're making you're bringing a value. You're validating whether or not you should get in, that you should enter. And if you got some confusion, if you got some clustering happening here, remember, this is the market not knowing what it's doing. This is the market know it's going in a direction. This is the market knowing it's going in a direction. This becomes confusion. When the lines start to collapse on a MACD, it means that there is confusion, or stuff just needs to break itself out a little bit, right? You know when something's going strong. I mean, you get the little collapses, a little bit of movement here, but really if you pull back and really look at the market, you'll start to see these relationships that you're going to get. Did we get bought up? It doesn't look like we did. Okay. Now we're waiting for another ringtone to happen, and it doesn't look like we're going to have one on this particular one. We don't always have to have a signal happening. All right, so now let's go back over to the charting system and have a look at what we're referring to. There's lots of new features to the system. Like I was saying, you can turn on the MACD, turn off the MACD, the SR, all of it can be turned on and off. The indicators can be turned off. It's really, really wonderful to have that on there, because some of you don't use the SR, some of you don't even bother with the MACD. You're just following the signal on that, and you're going one up, one down from that process. Pretty wild. The movement is extremely easy to use now. You're just clicking and dragging over, and if you don't have that opportunity, click in the gray bar and use your right button to move over. Oh, look at that. My time on my computer's off here. I just noticed that. So there is a signal going off. There's one on the down for the USD JPY. There's a lot of little movement all over. I don't think this one, the AUD USD, really knows which way it's wanting to go yet. But I do think I'm going to get in this USD JPY. We're going to jump over USD JPY. We're going to come in the middle. We're going to come one up, pop in. We're looking for $38. We're going to place the order, and we're going to wait, see what happens. Right,
and guys, it's really as simple as that. One up, one down. See the arrow. Check the MACD and go. Right. It's it. There's no thought process.
That's it.
Don't overthink. Just do.
Just get in and do. Now, the cool thing is that when you get in and just do, you begin to get a feeling about the market and how it's responding to the different things that you're seeing every day. And you just get in and you just do. You start following a method, and you can kind of see easily enough once we get down here pretty much into it. You see nothing but 68.32s. These are working orders being filled. So if you want to know, are they being filled? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Why is the account balance on this system at $43,000? Because it works. The momentum works. The building works. Why is Mike's live account above $4,500 when starting out at $800? Because it works. The system works. The programs work. The mentality works. It's all about the discipline. Now, I don't think we're going to get bottom in this. We're sitting at 41, and it's sitting down now at 32. So we're about 9 pips away, 8 pips away from that position. I don't think this one's going to get bought up. But that, again, is just part of the package, right? There's movement. There's confirmation. There's validation. Should I get in? Shouldn't I get in? But basically, everything sits here on your network. I'm using 2 tabs. And I'm using it in the plainest system as possible, right? Could you use this on your tab? Could you use this, your tablet? Could you use this in just like a little laptop? Yeah, absolutely. And there's no complicated software to download, all that kind of stuff. So pretty powerful. So in this system, you also...
I'm going to try that.
Yeah. You can open it up on Nadex. Here's the message. Now, we weren't having a webinar tonight, so we sort of snuck this in, Mike and I, just to look at the numbers just dancing around. But we got into here because we wanted to do this little training video, this little presentation of what the new WB is. So we're very excited. All right, so we'll jump back over to system. It doesn't look at it. Just, now, did it work? Did that? Let's see, what was that? The USD/JPY. Yeah, I think it did what it was supposed to do. You know, it delivered the signal. It just happened to move really far to do the one. Now, if we would have done an at the money trade here at the time it came out, that would have been a whole other story, right? We're doing a from the middle trade. That would have been a whole other story. But those only win. You know, I mean, they'll have a success rate as well. But another good reason why we have a system of price level trading of 30/70, and I'm not really going to show you that tonight. We're basically doing this particular type of trade here of the 38.62 middle risk, right? There is a higher risk potential with the process doing 45.55. Now, I've talked to some that say they're doing one up on the 45 or one down on the 45.55. I've talked to some people that are doing from the middle 45.55, and they're having good success. Because remember, when we're doing these kind of things, we're getting in for a $45 profit margin, right? And when we're losing, we're only losing $55. And so it only takes 2 trades to make your money back plus some. That's a lot of dings going off because I have multiple screens up. Let me kill that one. Let's go back to the 4 square, have a look to see which one came out. Again, that was the close.
You have your MetaTrader 4 on?
Yeah, but I don't have my 4 square up for that yet. So that was kind of weird because everything just froze, and because I have so much happening on the computer. Sorry about that, folks. We had a little skip there because I froze on the computer that we're using. I had to restart the program that we used to record. So I do apologize. We're going a little bit nuts here because there's so many programs trying to record this stuff from this process. So we had about 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes that we had that kind of played with the market here. So we're just waiting for another couple of things to happen here. Now, this isn't really about trading live and doing all that kind of stuff, but I just wanted to quickly kind of show you, what we're working with. Some people using the center. It's the center, one up, one down, top fringe, bottom fringe mentality, using 62.38 as a mentality to buy in. Now, with any good system, the availability to buy in at these lower rates, or these higher rates, and get more money per profit. That's the big thing to be able to do, because you will survive the drawdown from that. Remember, don't try to lose more than any 2 at any one time. Try to keep your drawdowns low. If you're doing 3 or 4 losses in a row, then you're in a bad time. Is that about right, Mike?
Yes, especially yesterday and the day before. There was actually a double day of bad luck, I guess you could call it. But at that point, I learned my first day better than my second day. I learned to get out of it a lot faster. Yesterday, it was just every time I'd get back in, I wasn't successful. Right. So I knew, I can handle the drawdown, but I just knew today wasn't a good day to trade because of all the news, and tomorrow is probably, there's a 3-hour window tomorrow after lunch.
Right.
It's all you have to keep looking forward. Friday's a throwaway day. Sunday is going to be the day for us.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is if you come into the market and you got good trade, you have a bad trade, something happens, and I won't say bad trade, bad timing or whatever the market is, right? You lose a trade, exactly. And then you keep trading. From that point, maybe you gave us a little bit of time here, right? You got a little bit of time happening here. So then you come back in and you got 1 and you got 2, and then you give it some more time, and then you get one of these that happened, right? And you're like, what do I do now? Because you got 3 losses in a row. And then you do it again. You come back and you're like, oh, I got 4 losses in a row. This is crazy, right? This is the time you say, all right, that's my day, right? And even though that you're probably upside down, right? You might be like minus 10, 15 bucks in that point. You got to tell yourself, okay, listen, this is just a day. We're just talking about a day here, right? God, everything's skipping on me tonight. That this is just a day. This is not about the macro look of it, right? We're talking about the month, a week, 2 months, that kind of stuff. So, keep in mind, come back in a day, but then you have timing issues, right? You're like, it's like, you ever play double dutch when you're a kid? It's like trying to jump into the rope. You're like, all right, I got smacked in the face the one time. Now I got to jump back in. So you're a little gun shy. So sometimes coming back in, you might get that big X in the first one. Don't be too scared from that point. We just had a bell ring. Let's see if what we can look. The market's actually very choppy on the pairs, especially the British pound USD and the Euro USD is very, very choppy at the moment. We are getting some consistent runs on the Audi USD, which we'll probably look at here. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to go with that one. Audi, do you agree with that, Mike?
That's my favorite pair.
7709, 7711. This is the perfect hit here. I'm going to
I would have got in on that.
What's that?
I would have got in on that one as well.
What do you mean?
No, I would have gotten in on that trade as well.
Oh, yeah. So this would have been a trade that you would have looked at the getting in, yeah. So we'll sit here and wait for a minute or so, see if we'll get bought in on the 6238. That's basically it. We're just kind of hanging around
really
waiting,
that easy.
waiting for stuff to get in.
This is the time where you're doing your journal maintenance and
That's
you know,
right.
you're
That's right.
You don't have to watch what you're doing from your last trade. You go right in and fix your journal, and
right. You
don't
got
get
your
too
trade.
far behind on that.
You got your trade system happening here. You got your journal page right here. Just go to your name. We'll go to my name here, and well, actually we go to Mike's here because we're using that stuff in there. So we would go in and we'd copy and paste our stuff over. We do all of our trades in that position. So we haven't gotten into one yet. Still a little frustrated. Okay. Still may not get into this one either, but that's all right because it's about the potential of getting in, having that opportunity, and it does work.
And you guys are seeing how we're doing it as
Right.
well, which is the most important part.
Well, also being a part of the company too, you're going to get emails to certain playlists that are on the site of, the Dex Trader now that are going to be about the live trades that are happening, the real trades that are happening in front of your face. The webinars that we do, you'll be getting part of too. So keep that in mind. There's some pretty good features in that network. I'm going to be doing some more training videos. I want you to use this one to start with as a training video on how to use the system, getting into the trades, that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to kind of show you ease of use from this position. But I think that's basically it, Mike. I'll wait for the couple minutes here. Is there anything you want to add?
No, I've been really going with everybody I'm meeting in the room, the MDM room, and if you need me to trade with you, make a consult with me, and I can show you exactly what we're doing. If you're having trouble, that's
crazy.
why we're here. You know what I mean? If you're having any trouble at all, we can trade side by side. Right. And I can explain to you how I'm getting into the trade, why I'm getting into the trade, what I'm looking for. It's very simple. Sometimes that's all somebody really needs to see is somebody actually doing it with them, and they get the aha moment.
Dude, that is absolutely crazy because everybody I talk to is like, nobody does that. Nobody will sit down and have a conversation with me, when I need. You could set. I mean, there's other companies that you can set consults with. There's one company that does a sort of concept of the same thing that we do, but it's just like, I just want to find out, did you get everything we needed? And that's just so, I know that you've been trained. And then they're off. But you can't talk to owners. You can't talk to, you just can't call and say, hey, what's going on?
I am so grateful to you when you gave me complete, run of the room. Because when I first started with this company, it's all I wanted to see was somebody please do this live so I can see it. Somebody please let me see what's going on. Right. And now that I get to run it, I can actually do what I wanted, always wanted to see. And it's been great. And I really appreciate you letting me have that leeway.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, you deserve it. You've worked hard for it. You told me when you're first starting to do it that you were going to do this. This is what you had in mind. And I said, if you're going to do it, it's going to be your room. It's your puppies. So you got to make
Mhm.
sure you take care of your puppies, and you've done a
Yep.
wonderful job. There's a lot of people here who really do enjoy working with you, and I'm one of them. I have found a brother in arms of who this company is, and we're always saying building relationship is our pride
Mhm.
and joy, and that's what this is. It's building our relationship.
Absolutely. If they can't feel that they can't reach out to one of us,
Hmm.
you or me or any of the senior traders in the room, then there's something wrong with our operation, and that'll never happen as long as you're boss and I'm in the company.
Yeah.
I can
Well,
guarantee that.
all right. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to get into this one right at the moment. But again, this wasn't a video about us getting in and all that kind of good stuff. This was more
Mhm.
about us showing you what the WB looks like, how it operates, and what getting into some of the trades, how easy it is to use the onboard charts. You can easily see that there's some good stuff happening here.
It's not done yet. That's the best part. You're still adding great stuff to it.
Oh yeah, there's still lots more to get on board. There's more charts coming
That's
for
exciting.
the Dex Trader Network, the Dex Signals, the Dex Indicators Network. There's a lots more
Mhm.
stuff about to happen that you're all going to see too. We're even developing a Forex network for Forex trading
Oof.
using a what we call a double top, double bottom delivery service. Notification service. That's like stupid powerful. Even our
Mhm.
5 minute system can be utilized in a trading platform for giving results for forex as a notification system. Very powerful. So I'm very excited about what's about to happen. Now, if you happen to watching this video, because I know that I'm going to put this video out to the world so they can see, that our systems do work. Our systems do work around if you see, these are all people in. I know Mike F is trading live now. I know I'm trading in live now. I know Rich A. There's a handful of other people that are still in demo. They're still working stuff out. But you see this. These are people that started just on the 14th last month, and they're figuring stuff out. Here's somebody who started on the 7th of, and today's only the 15th. So there's a lot of people who have just started, and there's a tremendous amount of people that have been here for a while that you don't really see anybody in a negative. When you buy in, you get access to this. That's the cool thing is that you get access to these kind of things. And these are people that have come in with no knowledge how to do these 5 minute trades and have just been killing it. Okay? Look at this, 516 trades, 70.93% success rate, just killing it, right? So there's great opportunity here for anybody who wants to learn with this system and learn how to make money with this process. You've got to get in and train with it. All right. Now, if you want to do that, I have a special offer for you for watching this video tonight. It's Dex 77 times 2, X2, right? This will give you the system for 77. This is only on dextrader.com. Put in that code. It'll give you $77 for each month for first 2 months, and then it's $297 after that. Why do we do that? The first month's to learn, the second month's to earn, and then you're ready to go. All right. So keep that in mind as you get in. If you're finding this video out there, then this is the deal for you. Mike, you got anything to add before we head out?
No, it's a great deal, Max. It's just fantastic that you're able to realize that people need that month to learn,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second month to also to really start, coming into their own and trading live. And we're
Absolutely.
here every step of the way, guys.
It's very important for everybody to know that. All right, everybody, listen. I want to thank you for getting to this part of the webinar. We'll see you all soon. Normally do a questions and answers afterwards. We won't have too much of a time to get to that. I'll be traveling all day tomorrow to get back up to New Hampshire. I know there's a lot of snow that's happened, but you'll see me in some webinars heading into the first of next week. There's going to be a lot of great stuff coming your way. We look forward to seeing you on side. And as always, trade well. I'm Max. This is Dex and Mike Ficca.